Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker's Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 79. And today we're going to be talking about tonality in the way that you are talking to clients. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how to use it and why it is so important. So really excited to be sharing that with you. But before we do that, if you've got leads in your pipeline, you want to convert more of those leads into sales, head over to johnblakeaudio.com and grab the audio training that shows you exactly how to double sales with your existing leads. It's actually not that hard, especially if you listen to the last podcast. This is the exact same strategy that I teach my clients. The first thing I do with them when they come on board with me, and it literally is the highest value thing that I can offer you right now. Fastest thing to implement, quickest way for you to get some great results. So head over to johnblakeaudio.com, download the audio file, goes for about 10-15 minutes, just pure content, no fluff. And what you'll also get is a PDF that's got the exact word-for-word email templates and the exact scripts that you can use when you are following your clients up that have inquired with you but haven't purchased yet, that you can use, as well as a framework that shows you exactly when to call and exactly when to email over an 8-week period. So head over to johnblakeaudio.com and grab that, and I look forward to hearing your success story. Righto, so we're going to talk about tonality. I realised that I haven't really talked about this much on the podcast, but it's really, really important. And the main reason that it's important is because when you are presenting face-to-face, only 6% of your actual communication is language-based. So that is, the words that you use are only 6% of your actual communication. So what is the rest of the 94% when you're face-to-face? The rest of the 94% is your facial expressions, your body language, and your tonality. So your tone of voice, your cadence in your speech, the energy in your voice, and the intention in your voice. So it's pretty massive, and it's remiss of me a bit, I think, to not have brought this up in the podcast before today. But we do talk about it in my 6-week lead conversion mastery program, and we also talk about it in the 1-day professional sales masterclass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an example of why this is so important, and then I'm going to give you a way that you can correct probably the most common tonality mistake that I hear in people when they are talking to clients, and give you what I believe is probably the most valuable tonality lesson that you can use. And look, we could literally do a 6-week course just on tone of voice and how it works and non-verbal communication. But my aim today is to give you some really simple tools that you can use straight away. So I'm going to start with a story. Okay, so one of my clients is a true story. One of my clients they do security system, home security systems. And they've been doing it for a long time, probably in excess of 10 years. And over that time, they've installed a lot of alarm systems in people's homes. And, like most electrical things, over time, they break. They need servicing, and they get people who have had an alarm system in their home for a number of years, and they will ring up and they will request that a technician go out and either service the product or fix it or whatever. So these guys have, the way it works is they can get a technician out, and it is $197 for the call out. And if the call out session goes for longer than half an hour, so if it takes longer than half an hour for them to fix the thing, I think it's $50 for every half hour after that. So they had three ladies who were answering the calls to get people to come out and to get a technician to come out and service some of these older alarm systems. And two of the telephone girls were having no pushback or resistance on price whatsoever, but the third one was getting people that were pushing back on price. They're like, really? Wow, that's ridiculous. That's too expensive. And so they couldn't work out why. Because there's three people picking up the phone, handling the same queries. Two of them aren't having a problem at all. The technician's going out, completing the work. The client's paying for it, and there was one of the girls that was getting pushback on it. So they asked me to listen to the calls. So I did, and so I listened to the call, and straight away it became really clear to me what was happening. So, so she's talking to the client. The client rings up and says, I've got the XYZ security system. It's not working, or I need to get somebody out. And the lady starts off well. She says, okay, well that's fine. The XYZ system, we can service that. I can have a technician out there on Thursday, between the hours of 1 and 4. Is that okay? And the client says, yeah, that's fine. So everything up until that particular point in time was going pretty well. And she said, and the fee for that will be $197, right? And then, and I'm obviously listening to the recording, and this bloke on the other end of the phone, he's like sounded like he was either in the country or had spent a lot of time in the country. And this guy comes back with, thieves, I tell you, thieves, like this. He's like blowing up. So why do you think she was getting the pushback? Well, unless, in case you haven't already worked it out, the reason that she was getting the pushback is because when she was stating the fee, she had weak tonality. So she had no authority in her voice whatsoever. So it's when you're stating fee, for it to come across as normal and customary, and this is a fee that we, this is our fee, this is what people pay every day. You can't go from low to high in your tonality. So you can't go, and the fee for that will be $197, right? Because it sounds like it's phrased as a question. So when I say to you, okay, so I can come out there, and the fee is going to be $197. It's just inviting somebody to say, well, no, that's ridiculous. We're not going to pay that. Da, da, da. So how do we fix it? Well, quite simply, we do the opposite. So when we're stating fee, we say, and the fee for that will be $197. And then ideally, rather than leaving a gap where the person can say, well, that's ridiculous, you're better to say, okay, and so the fee for that will be $197. And that covers the first half an hour. 80% of the calls are serviceable within that first half an hour. If for whatever reason the technician has to stay longer, it's $50 for every half an hour extra that he stays beyond that first half hour period. When would you like to book that in? So rather than waiting for the person to say, creating that space or that gap in the conversation where they can come back, the next best thing to do is to ask a question. So what would you prefer? We could have a technician out there on Thursday at 1 o'clock, or we can have a technician out there next Monday at 3 o'clock. What would you prefer? Right? So the other little kind of mindset that I wanted to share is one that I often share with clients, and it's kind of funny, but it's an easy one to remember. Is if you are going, so in terms of where in the sales process we would be using this. So this is where we would be talking about our solution. So we will have, if we look at where we are in the process, so we would have created rapport, we would have asked some diagnostic questions, we would have confirmed that we've got it right, and we're on the same page. And when we go to present our solution, so when I put these processes together for people, my typical type way that I frame a recommendation is to say, okay, so based on what you've told me, what I would recommend is, right? And so now what we're doing is we're presenting our solution. So the best way that you can do that is to use the mindset of what I call the stern but caring parent. So the stern but caring parent is, okay, so what needs to happen? I will organize a technician to come out there. He will have a look at at your particular alarm, and it will typically take him half an hour to either service the alarm, or it may require some additional parts to be replaced. And he'll be out there between the hours of 1 and 4, and we will give you a call half an hour before he comes out, and he's going to come out and he will service the alarm. And if for whatever reason it takes longer than that, there will be an additional fee, but 80 to 90% of the alarms can be serviceable within that half-hour period. So I can have him out there either this Friday or next Friday. So if you listen to my tonality, it's everything's happening like this. It's all very normal and customary. I'm walking you through what's going to happen. I am a stern but caring parent. And if we want to sort of exaggerate this, and make sure you bring a spare set of undies, and make sure you pack your toothbrush, because that's what we're conditioned to comply to, that type of tonality in our languaging. And so from a mindset perspective, it does line up, because the person's got an alarm that isn't working, and I'm using this example because it's a real one. They've got an alarm that isn't working and they need help, right? So we're there to help them. So, this is what's going to happen. So hopefully I've made that point. So they're just two of the things that, that we can talk about around tonality. There are some other things that we cover in the 6-week lead conversion mastery program, which actually, funnily enough, when this particular episode goes to air, we will be still taking people as participants in that. We do have a couple of spots left in it. So if you are interested, best thing to do is to email me direct, John, JOHN, at johnjohn-blake, blake.com.au, and we can have a chat to make sure it's right for you and hopefully get you a spot. So I hope you get some value in that. There is a whole bunch of tonality. We talk about this is actually an idea that I learned from a guy called Travis Sago, which actually he learned it from a very old study of psychology called transactional analysis. Very popular book called I'm Okay, You're Okay. And in that book, they talk about child, adult, and parent. So there's tonality that matches each one of those particular type standpoints from a sales perspective. So obviously we haven't got time to go into that in today's podcast, but we will be talking about it in the 6-week lead conversion mastery program. So as I said, if you're interested, email me at johnjohn at johnjohn-blake, blake.com.au, and I will look forward to talking to you on the next podcast. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker's Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies to maximize your sales process with new episodes every week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive free no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.